What's up, everyone? All right, so in today's episode, I'm going to break down the trades from this morning, and I have to tell you that this week was amazing. We had a fantastic week, and just these last couple days, it's like we've had back-to-back 300, 400% moves. Today was no different. The challenge with today was that after yesterday's huge moves on some stocks with no news, we had stocks that were squeezing up with no news, and that just always makes me feel a little uneasy because I worry about, the reality is the company is up this much with no news. Insiders may take the opportunity to sell. The company may take the opportunity to sell shares. You could get a halt pending news. I just don't love it. And so unfortunately today, I wasn't able to really ever get in the driver's seat. I wasn't able to ever build really strong momentum. In fact, what ended up happening was I kind of start to build momentum and then I'd get a little timid and then I ended up taking a couple losses, dip back down, and then start to pick up again. And again, this was sort of the cycle for today. So let's go ahead and look at the trades from this morning. I'm sitting up $7,371.86. Not bad. That's a green day. I peaked at probably around 14,000. So I gave back about half of my day. And that was my cue to hit the road and call it. Unfortunately, I just kept kind of having 2 steps forward and then 1.5 steps back. So yeah, you know what? I'm walking away with more than I had a couple hours ago. So green is good, life is good. I can't complain, but it was a little trickier today. And what we've seen is that a lot of the stocks that made big moves earlier have not held those moves. Now, part of that may be that it's Friday, it's the end of the week. Traders are, wrapping it up and taking their gains and leaving before overstaying their welcome. But we're not seeing big afternoon momentum like what we saw Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So the stock I made the most on, MYZ. This one, I had some big winners. I also had some big losers on it, walking away with $5,800 in profit. So green is good, but it was a little tricky. So let me break down these trades for you first. This was actually the first stock I traded this morning. So sat down this morning on the early side, was sitting here by 6:45, took the first trade coming into 7, top of the hour, as this began to pull away. So we're going to get zoomed in here. Right here, we started to squeeze. And this kind of surprised me because when I was sitting down looking at the scans this morning, this had made a nice move. But when I was looking at it just before 7 a.m., it was below VWAP. It had pulled back quite a bit. And I just wasn't sure that there was anything really to trade here. So it ends up basing out, and then all of a sudden coming into 7 a.m., it starts to peak. And so I ended up getting in kind of high. It had a high here of 422, and I took my first entry at 422. It was a high a day break. So I'm in at 422, but man, this thing squeezed all the way up to 522 or so. And I thought at that point, I was like, all right, maybe this is going to be one of those parabolic moves right here at the top of the hour where we're just going to get a move straight up to 7 or 8. Well, it stalled out a little bit here, and then it pops up, and I sized up heavy right here, and then noticed a topping tail. I thought we were going to 6. Usually a move like this and a curl this early in the day, high volume, there was a lot of buying volume, almost 1 million shares, but it ended up forming a topping tail. And so actually right here, I peaked at 10,000 on the day. I peaked early today, and then I gave back half of it right there as it dropped back down. So now I'm back to up, 5,000. Sort of pops up again, goes lower. It was a little choppy through here, and it ends up pulling back. Comes back all the way to the VWAP, and then all of a sudden it kind of pops up, pulls back, and, swing, goes all the way up to 650. Now, the thing is, this sort of caught me by surprise because at this time, although it was a MACD crossover, I was a little unsure because we'd had this false breakout here, this topping tail here, this kind of red candle there. So I just wasn't feeling confident in it. So it squeezes up, it pulls back, it comes back up, double top, then it drops, then it comes back up again. And this is where I was like, okay, here we go. We're going for a final break. And it rejected. So it's like, I just could not really get myself in the driver's seat on this one. And then even at the open, I will say that probably one of my best trades of the day, and I didn't end up keeping this profit, but I had a trade down here that I bought at 452. And that was a really solid trade. I'm going to show that to you on the 10-second chart. So I'll explain why I took that trade. at the open, I was watching it because I thought it still was volatile and made sense. It was our leading gainer. And it sells off here, pops up, and I'm thinking this is a bear flag for the step down. When we came down and there was a buyer right around the $0.50 here, and it was double bottoming, I thought, well, actually, if we're going to double bottom here, I'm going to take an entry right there. Stop is about 15 cents below. And this actually bounced from about 450 all the way up to 520, all the way up to 540, all the way up here to 6. And I got my final exit right here. Made over $1 a share on that move. So that was like one of my best trades. And then again, this big double top, right? It rejects all the way back down to 5. And then it bounces and halts up. And I was like tempted to trade it here, but I didn't. Why not? Well, look at what happened the last time I took that trade when it was coming up to 7, right? Last time I took that trade, it rejected. So of course, this time it ends up working. And then on resumption, I did a dip and a rip, very quick one, up to 740. And that was good, except that I got back in right here, rejection. And I got back in right here, rejection. So in total, this one wasn't very easy. And, it was up a lot, no clear catalyst. And so anyways, that's I guess, the way it goes. So that was MYSZ. So that was the first stock I traded. Now I have 4 stocks I traded today. Let's look at the second stock of the day. So that was MYSZ. Second stock was NVNI. NVNI. I'm actually down $500 on it. And I traded this one because yesterday it had such a big move, I thought it was worth a stab. And so I traded it right here as it started to curl up and rejected. Lost money on that. So I lost $500 on that one. I thought maybe it would continue because it was so strong yesterday, but this rejection at 4 a.m., that I guess didn't help it. High volume rejection at the open. It's starting to curl up a little bit now, but I don't know. So anyways, so that was NVNI, and then I would say this would have to get over VWAP and hold, and then you'd want to see it get through the high a day, right? It's got to get over 7 to kind of get interesting. So it's $2 away from that. Could you trade it between here and there? Yeah, but you're probably going to have lighter volume at this time of day, bigger spreads. It's probably not going to be that easy. So anyway, so I lost on that one. Then the next trade that I took was on back to MYSZ, took some more trades on that. And then the next stock after that was LYT. LYT, I'm up 3,700 on, and I was up 10 grand on this one. So I gave back 63% of my profit on it. So what happened was this stock kind of similar to what we've seen yesterday, kind of takes off and basically makes a huge move with hardly a pullback, and then that's it, it was over. So I took my first trade on it as it started to pull away. I got in at 219, and that was right around here. It pops up, and so the interesting thing on this, I got in at 219, and then it drops down, and I ended up stopping out basically break even. A moment later, it rips up to 3, and I'm like, well, all right, it's showing strength. So I got back in at 3, but that was right up here. It didn't break 3, and I stopped out for a $1,500 loss. Then it comes back up, and I take the break of 3 for the second attempt, and there I had a nice trade that squeezed all the way up to about 360. So I made almost $10,000 on that trade right there, but did not keep it. Unfortunately, it drops down, it rallies back up, and when it comes back up, I went heavy for the break through the high and rejection. So caught a rejection on that. And this is the point of the day where I was like, man, I'm just not making progress. What's happening today is I'm having, what feels like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. So basically started the day at 0, which is good. I mean, fine, not in the red. Got myself green 5,000, then up to 10,000, and then back to 5,000. Then got myself up to 14,000, about 15,000 here, and then dropped back to like 8,000, something like that. 8,600, 8.6, just like that. And then kind of came back up again, peaked at 11,000 at the open, and then dipped back to 8,000, and then finally dipped back to 7,000. Well, what am I at now? 7,300. So, this was a day where it would have been nice if I could have just I had a lot of winners. I probably had $30,000 in winners, and then I had $23,000 in losses. So I just wasn't able to get myself in the driver's seat today. That was the problem. And at a certain point, I was having a hard time accepting it. I wasn't happy that I wasn't able to build a cushion. And then all of a sudden it's 9:30. I'm taking a couple trades at the open. So between 9:30 and 10, I went from up about 8,000 to up 11,000 and then back down to 7,300. And at that point I was like, what am I doing? It's not happening. It's just my window's closing, and WKE was obvious. And sorry, this one's on the scanners, and this one was interesting, but light volume. But I meant MYSZ was obvious, but didn't work out super well. Didn't go parabolic in a big way. Was nice, but not incredible. LYT, well, that one got choppy. UK, I jumped on that, got stopped out real quick. That did a full round trip. So the loss was negligible, I guess. But NVNI, so it just felt like maybe there was too many stocks popping up, and that was a bit of an issue. So attention was kind of dispersed. And it sort of felt to me like we kind of had this issue today where I feel like traders were kind of quick to jump on anything that was moving, especially yesterday, having stocks squeezing up with no news. But that resulted in this kind of erratic price action. Rather than having one stock that got super obvious and then all of a sudden shorts get trapped and you get this huge squeeze, we were just jumping from stock to stock to stock. And so, I think that these are kind of tricky days, and part of it's maybe because it was the end of the week. We didn't have any stock with really amazing news. So some short sellers were probably a little more confident that things would unwind, going into the end of the day on Friday. And longs kind of, I think, lost the battle a little bit today. Having said that, we still have a couple stocks up over 100% right now, which is good. And it's a green day for me. I'm a little bit above the daily goal. I can't complain about that. I saw some other people had decent days today, but compared to the momentum that we had earlier in the week, today was nothing really to write home about. And as it turns out, I would have done better if I'd walked away at 10 past 7. But the reality is you never know. And if I'd walked away when I was up $10,000 yesterday, I would have left a solid $65,000 on the table. Something like that. Because I finished yesterday at 76,000. So this is my P&L right now for the month of December, not including today, $436,000 in profit. Wow. So today we'll add another 7,000. So that'll put me at 442. And then we've got Monday, Tuesday. Markets close Wednesday for Christmas. Then we've got Thursday, Friday. And then we've got Monday, Tuesday of the following week. So we've got 2, 4, 6 days left in the month. So my daily average for the last 30 days, let's see. So we're going to go to last 30 days, daily average. It's going to be probably around $20,000 a day, $26,000 a day. So 6 days left in the year, $20,000 daily average, $26,000. I could make another $100,000. This could end up being a $500,000 month, and that would put me over $2 million in profit on the year. So if we go to year to date, no, not last year, we'll go year to date right here. I'm currently sitting at, let's see, 1.985 million. I was over 2 million on the day, over 2 million on the year today at one point, but probably only by a couple dollars. And anyways, and that's net, that's gross. That's before fees and commissions. So to cross it after fees and commissions, I would need to make another 100 and almost 200,000. I've got a lot of fees and commissions. They typically are about 10% of my profits. Now I'll have another episode coming out soon where I talk about commission-free brokers versus the type of broker that I'm using. For traders using small share size, the commission-free brokers are quite adequate, and they have a compelling offering. You could practice trading, very low stakes, no platform fees, no commissions. That's really nice. But at a certain point, if you're trying to move in and out of the market with 30, 40, 50,000 share positions, it's nice to be able to use a platform that's a little more sophisticated. Now, having said that, I know a number of people who use Thinkorswim and are throwing 75, 100,000 share market, orders to the market, and they're doing fine. They're making good money. They're 7-figure traders, but I still feel like the execution speed and the more sophisticated platform is worth it at a certain point, as you're kind of ramping up in terms of share size and profit. So I sort of feel like the commission-free brokers kind of you're sort of like this, where you get to a certain share size and you're gonna have diminishing returns, but then the brokers that you pay a commission with, that one's a little bit different, because it's kind of like you sort of almost go negative until you start to go higher, because initially you've got the fees and commissions. So when you're trading with really small size, you wouldn't actually make money, because with 100 shares, your commission on each trade, it wouldn't work. But then at a certain point, it kind of goes up. And then, you'd still have point diminishing returns up here somewhere, where you can't buy and sell 500,000 shares. And that's not a limitation of the broker, that's just a limitation of the market. So anyways, this is kind of the way I would look at it. And so for a beginner trader, using Thinkorswim, Webull, whatever, commission-free broker, I think these are fine, but then if you get into this area, that's when you may want to consider making the transition to one of these brokers that do charge fees and commissions. And this is probably when you're going to be getting in the area of regularly trading, 15, 20,000 share positions and higher. You could switch sooner. I probably wouldn't switch if I was trading with less than maybe 5 or 6,000 shares. So anyways, so that's kind of where I'm at right now today. In a great place on the year. Yes, I've got the fees and commissions, but that's a cost of doing business. And realistically, if you took every single trade I took all year long, and you said, well, and it's, millions of shares of volume, so if you took every single one of those trades and you said, well, if I was with a commission-free broker, I probably would have made, let's just say, 1 cent less per share. 1 cent less per share on every trade this entire year. That means the loser's 1 cent bigger, the winner's 1 cent smaller. I would wager that would have cost more than the commissions. Now, maybe 1 cent, I'm not 100% sure, but just the fact that whenever I've used Thinkorswim and commission-free brokers, I'll notice just a little bit of lag. For me, that's okay with small orders, but when you're doing 10,000 shares, 5 cents of slippage is $500. It only takes so many times for that to really add up. So anyways, that's it for me here today. I'm going to have a couple episodes I'll be uploading over the weekend, so I hope you guys stay tuned for them. And if you enjoyed this recap, I do hope you hit that thumbs up. I hope you're subscribed to the channel. And if you want to join us for a 2-week trial, you can start it today. Over the weekend, you can watch some classes that you'll have access to as part of that trial. And then Monday morning, boom, you can trade side by side with me for the next 2 weeks. So I'll be trading through the holiday. Of course, markets closed on Wednesday for Christmas and then Wednesday for New Year, New Year's Day, but I'll be trading every day that the market's open, and I'm looking forward to trying to finish this year strong. We've had some solid momentum, so let's see if we can have a strong finish. All right, thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll remind you, as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so please manage your risk, take it slow, and always practice in a simulator before you put real money on the line.